Hello everybody, welcome to Spy Money. It has been since I think Monday before I was able to come into a live stream from my house. I've been out of town making some money. I buy houses with cash and then I go ahead and own or finance them for people. Buy them cheap, sell them for more. Small down payments. It actually helps the people that are really kind of struggling. Maybe they've got good jobs and they've got money down, and but the bank just can't help them out. So what I do is I go in and buy the houses as cheap as I can. Do what I need to do to make them pretty good, and then go ahead and just resell them with a small down payment, small monthly payments, and it helps them. Helps out people. That's what I try to do, help people. I make money doing it, of course. I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't making any money, but it really helps a lot of people doing what I do. So I try to buy one a month. That's my goal, and get them sold. So that's where I've been. Hey Louise, how you doing, buddy? You ready to do some futures tonight, buddy? We have I posted on our Discord group some charts and kind of what I thought was going to happen with them, and put up some new fibs. Went about it a little different way, and it's I think it's actually going to turn out pretty good. It looks like this is ES right now, and hey Billy, how you doing, buddy? Glad to see you on here. It ES looks like it's probably, when we got this down arrow, and the only thing this down arrow is based off of the 8 and 20. That's what I've been using lately, and I can show you here. There's an 8 and there's a 20. I've been doing a lot of scalping, so I went from what my normal 1550 is to the 820 because it's a little bit quicker on your turns. A little more risky, but it's a little more quicker. So it looks like the EMA, this 8, is when the candle closes below the 8. That's when those arrows pop up. When the candle closes above it, that's what the arrow is. And if you look here, just to show you know how to use them, show breakout signals. You click yes if you want them. If you don't want them, you put no. So if I click no, they disappear. If I click yes, then they pop back. So that's how they work. And those arrows, I don't trade off the arrows, but it just kind of gives me an idea of where that candle is without having to really look for the candle where it closes. So I use these arrows just as a very fast visual of where we are, because as soon as this thing closes above it, if it stays closing above it, you'll never see another red one until it closes below that 8. So if you change this to 15, 20, 39, whatever you want to do, those breakout signals would be based off of that particular time frame. So, and this right now 8 goes back 8 days, and it's exponential, so it's actually putting more weight on the last couple of days more so than 8 days ago. So that's how the EMAs work. But looking at this, we're still in a bullish motion, but where we had that sell-off Thursday and Friday, that's actually brought this down, and then Friday we actually closed below that EMA. Closing below that EMA is a bearish sign. Closing below the 20 is a more bearish sign, and then so I think that's possibly where we're going to go. If we look at the fibs, and I drew the fibs from before it's dropped off back in February 21st or so, I think it was, when it dropped off there and it came down and hit a low. That's where my fib is actually drawn. So I started from the top, come down to the bottom, and that allowed room where if it went up, we would see other fibs. As you can see, they're up here. Now, if you think it's going to drop below this, which I personally kind of think it might, then we would start from the bottom and go to the top, and that would make the fibs go the other way. So I use the fibs, I use the pivots. There's no pivots on here right now, just looking at the fibs on it. So we'll turn those back on when the live trading comes in. And that's like 6 minutes away when it opens up. I'm going to hit these charts pretty quick so we can get those out of the way and know what's going to happen. What we predict will happen. And then when it opens, then we'll be looking at this live. Of course, you'll be looking on your screen as well with all your stuff. I'm sure the future traders out there will be putting their trades in. And let's see. Capone says on YouTube. I don't know why he cannot find it. Capone on the Discord said he can't get the live stream to load. I don't know. So it's YouTube. I don't know why you couldn't. But if y'all got any questions or anything, comments, whatever, post them over there in that live chat, and I'll keep an eye on that and see what we can do. If we go back to a 1 hour, which is kind of what I like to trade off from, as far as within like a day or two to kind of know what's going on. We're down below this 200. To me, that is a very bearish sign. Will we hit this 27.85 and then bounce up? Will we continue down? I'm not real sure. We got our MACD down here is kind of leveled off, so there's a good chance that this may open up, say it gaps down, and then when it gaps down, it may take off. I'm not really sure what the Fed schedule is. I'm not sure if they're coming in tomorrow. From what I remember, I don't think they were, but if someone wants to look at that and let me know, that'd be great. So I think that it'll probably continue to come down to at least the 50% level. There's a good chance that if we can break that and just keep on going, I really kind of think that the way the market's been moving, that we're actually going to be continuing down. So we'll see. Then we got gold. Gold is in this ascending triangle or descending triangle. Gold will probably pop up to around 1740 or so, and then come back down. That's what I'm guessing will happen. It kind of looks like that would be going that direction. The last time it dropped down to these kind of levels, it shot up to that trend, come back down. It almost hit there again, kept coming down. So I'm thinking that we'll probably, tonight probably rally up to around the 1740 mark, and then it'll sell off either tonight or tomorrow. That's my thinking. And then we've got crude oil. Crude oil is about to hit that 618 Fibonacci. That 618 is like money. So I think that it'll probably go ahead and continue up to there. We may cross over it a little bit. It may keep on going. I'm not really sure with crude oil. We can draw a trend line from here right there. So we're pretty close. So this will probably come up and hit that and then probably come back down. It may continue up though. I just don't know where it's going. I'm actually shocked that crude oil is that far down. But we've also got a trend line we could draw here and bring that down to here. Now that's only using 2 candles, so I'm not real fond of that one, but those are 2 different trends that we can be looking at. So we'll just have to wait and see. NG, I am hoping drops really hard tonight. If you look at this, it's just bouncing between this ascending broadening wedge pattern. Last time it hit up there, it come down, come back up, and then sold off. It come up, hit it, come down, come up. I'm hoping it'll sell off. I've got puts on NG. And I wanted to sell them Friday, but it just would not move. And you look at this. This is a bunch of crap. Look at that right there. That's a 1-minute chart. It come down and would not break that, would not drop. I think that when we open, this will probably gap down, is what I'm hoping. And I think it's probably going to be back down to the 160 range, which is where this support is. 161 right on through there. We've got our trend line coming up through here and that. So I'm hoping that this will actually come down and drop and hit this, by 1-2 days. Usually it takes about a day for this to drop, and then we've already been partial days, so I think this will keep on coming down probably overnight until tomorrow. So hopefully it does. If it does, I'm looking at some major money there. So that would be great. I've got June puts on it. That's why I've got on it, financial puts. And then NQ looks like it'll probably come down, retest this support. That's what it's been doing, and it's kind of going in that direction now. So probably come down, test that, and that would go in line with ES as well. If this comes down, then ES would actually be coming down to probably that same 50% support, maybe further. But I'd say at least to there. It could possibly come down to here. If we come down to 26.41, I believe that it will probably bounce, retest this, and then come back down. It'll be like a zigzag pattern all the way down. The earnings last week was horrible on a lot of companies, so I don't know. We got like 27 seconds for the bell. I haven't done live Sunday night in a long time. We might start doing that for a while. And Deb says she got the first like on the video. I've got 2 likes on there. One's Deb and one's probably Stacy. So if you haven't liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. This one is a public video. This is for everybody. Look at that, we gapped way down. Let's see what NG did. NG gapped up. Wouldn't you believe it? Wouldn't it have to gap up? That is just awful that it did that. I hate that for me. Let's see here. If we go down there. Yeah, I really hate that for me. That hurt me. I need that to come down. And then if we go back to ES, it gapped way down. I'd say that's probably what happened, where this gap down, NG shot up. Look at that monster. We're down 27.82, guys. Let me pull up 2 charts here so I can watch what I want to watch at the same time. These are really the 2 I want to watch. Let's see here. If we go to 1 minute. I don't know why I can't get that to open up. There's that. And if we go to 1 minute, try to get that. There it is. Man, that thing gapped way up. It hit the almost the 200 level. So we need that thing to, now that's gapped up there, we need that thing to sell off. I'm shocked that thing shot up that far. I thought it would gap down. But it, a lot of times when natural gas gaps up, it's because ES has gapped down. They have been, I don't know why, but they've been running against each other, inverse of each other. So we'll see what happens with it. Look at that thing climb. Killing me. I didn't even want to be in that trade. I was wanting out, but I couldn't get out. I was down like I think $200 or something on it, and I just didn't want to let go. That thing should have gapped down. What kind of trades you guys in? Anything? Look at that. That was a perfect way to sell off, and it gaps up. So now we've got ES is trying to make a move up. There we go. So it gapped down from 28, let's see, 28.16 to 27. So that's 18.30, about 32 points it gapped down. If you had SPY puts, or actually ES puts, you would have made some money there, because you could be selling at this bottom when it gapped down, and you could have made a bunch of money. Now let's watch NG and see what it's going to do. It's just pumping. I'm shocked that it's pumping up. I thought it would actually drop back down and hit that yellow support line at the 161. But this is just the opening. You can't judge anything off the opening. Got my SPY cup. Get me some water out of it. And now NG's wanting to pull back there a little bit. I'd see that thing just sell off really hard. If it starts selling off, I might go ahead and grab me another put on it. I reach down a little bit, try to make some money. I might just stay out of it though. I don't think it'll go up any further. If we go look at our, say, the 15-minute chart, we're up to here, which is that pivot. That's what it hit. So that's not bad, actually. I didn't think it'd go that way. I thought it would actually pull back. It's hard to guess the market, guys. You never know what that thing's going to do. Yep, that one right there, it hurt me pretty bad. But now it's leveled out a little bit, and my options are coming back down. I'm actually only 170 down on that one now. When we opened, or before it opened, it was down 210. So with those options coming down, that tells me that if things getting ready to tank. I mean, the premiums are getting more expensive. When the premiums start getting more expensive, then it's going your way. What are you guys looking at in there? What's your opinions? What are you wanting ES to do, and NG, gold, and all that? So we look at gold. See what gold did. Gold just sold off. Looks like it popped up and then it just started selling off. That's what gold did. So gold actually went the opposite way of ES, which is what it's supposed to do, but it don't always do it. Oh, look at that NG. You're killing me. Killing me. So let's take this one and bring it back over to, bring it back into our fibs. There we go. So we are actually gapped up over the pivot, and this one is as well. We're both over top of the pivots for today, which is a bullish sign. NG needs to come back. Whoever's in you guys is liking it. Go back into a 1 hour and look at that, see what it's doing there. Let's see here. So we're right there. So we're right at about the support or the resistance line of these. It might come up there and touch that trend again and come back down. I don't think it'll go through that trend. I was hoping it'd gap down and I could just go ahead and sell it, take off some profit. Options never do what I want. They always go the opposite way when I swing something overnight. It's pumping right there. So gold's still coming down. Let's go back to ES, see what it's doing. ES is still trying to come up. NG's trying to pull back here a little bit. And for all you SPY lovers, I don't know if it'll actually show it. No, it doesn't. It won't show SPY until tomorrow sometime. But SPY is, if you just take one number away, like where we've got 2974, that means SPY is like around 280. So NQ, you're in NQ. You're in the Qs, I think, aren't you? Like TQ, QQ, I think is what you're in, Louise. Or Lewis. It's just doing the same thing as ES is. You know, usually ES and NQ will run neck and neck. But I've noticed in the last week that they have been changing. One day NQ was actually going down and ES went up, and that's not the way it normally is. They've been running together so long it's not funny. But here lately, though, they've been running a little bit different, kind of the same direction, but a little different getting there. Yeah, NG is killing me in premiums. It's going to have to drop. Killing me. I wish I was in calls on that thing. I'd made a lot of money if I was on calls. I'll hold them overnight. I'm sure this will drop off tonight. So the Qs are staying underneath that ADMA. It can't break it. It's going to sell off probably. See what it does here. If it can break that 8, then keep on going, then you might be alright if you're in calls. You in calls or puts, Lewis? Look at that NG. Killing me. That's a buy 3, get, see, you pay for 3 and lose 1. That's what that was. So my 3 puts, I've lost, as of right now, I've lost almost enough to pay for one of them. Go back to ES, see what we got there. ES and NQ's running neck and neck. So if you look at that one, then come back down, they're running the same. They're almost on the same pivot even. So ES is having struggling to stay above this R1 pivot. Actually, that's the S1, I think. Yeah, that's the S1 pivot. Struggling. Looks like NG is building a pennant right here. That's actually a bull pennant, but a bull pennant don't mean it's going to go up. When you see a pennant, it can go either way. I don't like to play pennants. You look down here on this MACD, that thing's just curving over hard. It's wanting to come down. Overbought. So it looks like on a 5-minute. Same thing. It's where it gapped up. Doesn't mean it won't keep going up though. A pivot is if you go into your TOS settings, if you're in TD Ameritrade, you go into your studies and you type in pivot, and you'll see this one called pivot points. And when you click on that and you open it up, it will put these lines over here. And what those pivots do is it's like a, let's see here. It's like support and resistance line. It's like a Fibonacci. So if I took like these lines right here, the big lines going all the way across are Fibonacci. And then when you have these lines right here, these are pivots. And they are pretty close to what your Fibonacci is going to be as well. They're based on mathematical formulas and so forth. Your yellow is your base pivot. So if it's under that pivot, that is a sign of puts. And if it's above it, that's a sign of calls. And then you have this first one is your S1, S for support. So you got S1, then you got S2, and then you got S3, S4. So S1 is going to be closest to it. And now you've got this little gray one, which you can't really hardly see on this screen. But you got this little gray one right here that is a, I think it's called like a SR1 or SS1 or something like that. It's like an in-between. It's not a real strong pivot, but it is there, and it will interact around that. So if you put your pivots on there, you don't really have to use the Fibonacci. As you can see, this Fibonacci and this pivot are actually almost on the same line. The pivots are more accurate than a Fibonacci, but they're both, I mean, neither one of them are like 100%. They are just a guideline. It's just to let you know that something is going to happen in that vicinity. So that's how they work. And as far as when you put those pivots on, then if you're above this yellow line, then that's a good reason to put it in. Yes, they automatically show up. And you can even go into like your studies, and if you click on the ones I use, I can't share, but if you go up here, you have, let's see, show only today. If I click this to no, then it would show them all the time. So it would be, I don't think these will actually do it. Let me go back here a little bit, go to another chart and time frame. See how they're all over the place now? So if I just pull up and look for a certain day, like on Tuesday, it will show me where those pivots were on that day. So yes, the pivots are automatic. And if I go back to my studies, and if I click on that again, then I can make this to where show only today, yes. I don't really care about all that other stuff, where it was. Sometimes I will go back and look, see how they disappeared. But sometimes I'll go back and look. If I'm just wanting to know, like on a certain day, where were the pivots that day, I can turn them on, and then I can go back and look. But you get so much on your screen, you just don't want to see it. So I only use them like that whenever I'm just wanting to check something. But pivots are really good. They work well. You don't have to worry about, like on Fibonacci, you've got to know how to set the Fibonacci lines in there. And if you're wrong, then your trades are wrong. With pivots, they're right. They're automatic. They work off pretty much the same principle. They work really good. I trade with them sometimes, sometimes not. I get tired of seeing the same stuff on the screen all the time, so I'll switch out to something else. But pivots are very, very good. I like them. Now, NG looks like it's going to drop out of there, which would be great. I'd like to see just a huge sell-off on that. I'd see it come down to the 161 again by tomorrow morning. It would be really good. I've got a sale on that thing, I believe. Deb and I both are in on this. We traded side by side on Friday, and I made about $1,000 Friday, and I think she made about $300 just trading side by side. I traded larger quantity than what she did, but she did really well. She's picking up on it. She just started trading this year. She hadn't been in it very long, and she's doing actually really well. She's the kind of person that likes to follow the rules. She'll make more money than me because of that. Once she gets it. Look at that NG. Woo-hoo-hoo. Party time. I like that. So we got ES is staying about the same as rolling through there. If we go back to the Qs is staying about the same. Right there along that. Staying right along this pivot. It's going sideways. I'd actually like to see. I like to see the whole market just drop and fall flat on its face, because I've got some puts from way back when I thought it was going to fall. I didn't get out quick enough because I didn't follow the rules. When you buy a put or a call and you start, it starts going the opposite way, just get out of it. Take your loss. Don't worry about what you think it's going to do later. If it's going the opposite direction, just get out, take your loss. Get in there another trade and make up for the difference. When you hold it because you think you're right, even though everything's going the total opposite of what you think, and you just keep on holding it, that's been an idiot. And I'm talking to myself. Now right here where that gapped up, I would not sell on a gap up like that. But if it continued to go up through there and kept on going, I'd cut my losses and move on. But all the charts say that this is going to come down. It gapped up. I don't even know why it gaps up necessarily. It goes by the Asian markets and stuff, and they've been open. So they start feeding off of the world markets. So natural gas is looking like it is probably going to go ahead and pull back. And if it sells off slowly all night, that's fine with me. You've got NQ, looks like it is going to probably pull back. You've got your 8 is not going to cross right here. I mean, it's just pulling back. And you got your ES. It's underneath the fib now, or the pivot. It's underneath that pivot. It's underneath the VWAP here, so it's not looking good on that. Not looking good at all. Let's look at crude oil. Oh wow, crude oil is selling off like it just always does. Crude oil is in the hurt, and you can't even afford to buy anything in there. There for a while. I don't know if they are now, but they did have it set up to where you couldn't even buy anything on this. You could only sell. They'd allow you to sell it, but not buy. And the problem with that is if you're in the hole and if it goes to reversal and you can't average down or anything to try to come out of it, and the crude oil, I'm not trading anything oil. Just want to stay out of it. It's too unpredictable. I mean, look at this right here. If you look at a 1 hour chart, it's all over the place. You never know where it's going to go. Where ES is, it's been kind of a general direction though. I mean, you've had this right here, but it's the general direction. And now it's just selling off. So, and it's due for a sell-off. If you look, looking at the 1 hour chart, this is showing underneath that 8 all the way down through there. That means, don't buy calls. And if you look at NQ, it's the same way. It's underneath that 8. If you just played that one indicator right there, you'd make a lot of money. If you just played it and that's all, you can make money. That's probably the most important indicator. And it don't have to be an 8. You could set it up as a 10, 15. Some people play 8, 9, 12. Some people play one guy, he was posting the other day, and I think he played a 30, 31 or 33. That's what he traded on. And it worked for him. So what you got to do is just find what works for you and just stick to it. See, now I'm up $30 on my NG. So I was down almost 2,000 up here. Then it popped up. I was up $30. Now it's down again. Just changing. If this thing starts dropping hard, then my puts are going to be more valuable here than what they were down here. So Deb, if you're watching this, I know you are. Watch your current account up here, and you'll see it. It'll pop up and it'll show profit, and then it'll show red. It just keeps going back and forth. So when you have something moving like that, then they will adjust the premiums pretty quick when it starts dropping. Like this big old red drop right there, a big candle, this thing. When it dropped hard, it made all the premiums go up. And that's why I tell you all to buy your calls on your dip as it's coming down. Like if, give you an example. If you think, well, let's just use this one right here. If you think it's going to go up and continue, say your charting thought it was going to go up, and what you want to do is you want to buy your calls on these red candles. By doing that, you're going to get a cheaper premium. But as soon as it turns green and starts going up, your premiums just go out of sight. So you always want to buy your calls on the downward motion. Like if you're on a pullback or something, you want to buy on that downward motion. And then when it turns, you'll immediately be in profit. That's the way it works. So right now, NG is just playing around. We need it to drop below this 20, and when it drops below that 20, then it should just keep on going. Definitely needed to drop below this pivot. This pivot is anything above is calls, if it's below is puts. And that don't mean you buy it there, because eventually whatever's up comes down. And it may be up above here, and if you buy calls and it keeps on going, you lose money. There's more to the trading than this pivot. And if we go back to ES and we look at our 1 minute charts. So ES is showing down in the 2785 in our Discord group. If you're not part of our Discord group, go to SpyMoneyLSE.com. There is a link down in the description. And go there and read all about it. That's where we do a lot of call outs. Talk about our trades, talk about what's going on right now, a lot of the news coming out, and you can make a lot of money with it. Everybody does call outs, it's not just me. Here lately, I've been mainly trading futures. I say the majority of our group trades equity options, and calling that out. I do some charting on probably a dozen or so different stocks that we've been following. Trying to get that down a little more. Trying to get it into the base of maybe 6 charts. And then I do all the futures, do 5 futures. Well, I won't say all the futures, but I do the 5 that we play with, which is NG, Gold, ES, Crude Oil, and the Qs. Those are the ones I do. And during the day, I will, if I'm playing in something or see something different, I'll make a different chart and post it a lot of times. So just try to keep up on it. NG's trying to turn on me. Being a bad boy. Well, it looks like we've kind of settled out. We are kind of going sideways. The excitement's over. So I'm probably going to go ahead and end this one. You're all not very lively tonight. But I think ES is pretty much going to probably sell off all night, and I think that's the reason that NG may be going up right now. They have been running inverse of each other. So hopefully this will NG will actually pull back tonight and sell off, so that I'd like to see it tonight so I can make profit tonight. But if not, I can take profit tomorrow. It's fine. If you're in any kind of puts, probably across the market, you're going to be good, because if ES is coming down, the rest of the market is probably going to drop as well. So we got here. So what we got there? See what that thing's doing. That's the 1 minute chart, so a lot can happen on this. See, it broke that trend right there, so it may go on up. And right now it says Dow futures dropped nearly 300 points as states attempt to reopen. And I got a email from NinjaTrader. I gotta get my glasses on for this. I just can't read without glasses, guys. Oh, it's the same one. It's a reminder that's open. I funded my account Friday. My bank did, but NinjaTrader hadn't got it yet. So I say tomorrow I'll be able to trade on my NinjaTrader. I haven't put a lot of money in there. I put enough where I can trade 3 or 4 ES futures and cover myself a little bit for any kind of mistakes I might make. I make mistakes. But when NinjaTrader, when that account gets open, that is going to be a real blessing to me, I hope. That's where I should be able to make money. Like right now, I could be shorting ES and Ninja. So if I would have got in, say I'd got in about right here, it's 92 down to, so there's 4, 6. I could have made 6 points there, so that'd been $1,200 from right here to here that I could have made just on shorting that. There we go. NG is trying to come down now. So if you're not very familiar with futures, it's really not hard, but there's some things you need to know about it in order to trade it. Go to SpyMoneyLLC.com, and we have training courses on there. And you just pick the one you want. You have a future contracts. The future contracts will allow you to short this and buy it kind of like a stock, similar to that. And we have future options, which is similar to equity options. There's some differences, and that's why you need to know before you start diving in. But we have those two. We have equity options. So if you're wanting to trade, say, SPY options, you don't know how, then I go over that, how to do the options on it. There's another one talking about the how to scalp options. That scalping, I've got another course coming out soon. Got another course coming out soon that will teach you how to scalp the equities. So if you're just wanting to do stocks, say you want to buy Apple, you want to buy it at 300 and sell it at 310, it will teach you a technique, strategy for that. That'll be out real soon. We've also got, this is actually in the works, charting, how to draw patterns, how to see things, to know, where you are. Sorry, I keep on sneezing. I put it on mute when I sneeze. But it is, the charting is going to be really good, because you got to know how to chart. Just for instance, like NG, if I go back into a 1 hour, you need to know where NG is going. So if we go back to a 4 hour, and it teaches you how to pick up your trend lines and stuff. Look at ES sell off right there. Wow. I wish I was in a short on that. But with Thinkorswim, each one of these will cost you, see, right now it's $13,200 for each contract. With NinjaTrader, it's $500. They raised it to $1,000, but they dropped it down to $500. Lewis, I thought you already approved, Lewis. I thought you already had that. So on the active or the Thinkorswim, it just costs so much money up front that it's just, I mean, it's hard to do. I mean, if you want to buy 4 contracts, you're going to be, what is that, 52,000 or so? You'd have to have in your account to do nothing but this. So if you wanted to buy some options or anything, you couldn't use that same money. That once you do 4 contracts, you're going to be at 52,000 or roughly. That it's going to be set aside until your trade's over. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't keep a lot of money in my account anyway. You don't have to. A lot of people trade with these big huge accounts, but you really don't need to. If you keep 35,000 in your account, you can do about anything you want to do as far as scalping equities and things like that. So, okay, just wait. I was just thinking yours was open, Lewis. But on NinjaTrader, the one thing about it is when you're trading it, you only need $500 per contract. So you could do 4 contracts for $2,000. It don't take a lot. And the other thing is with futures, you have no PDT. So if you don't have a lot of money in your account, then you can trade it just without any PDT, pattern day trade, and you don't have to worry about the 25,000. You just have to have enough to meet your margin. With Thinkorswim, you have to have 2,000 in your account to meet margin, which you can't buy any contracts for 2,000 anyway. But as far as your future options, then you can. Just like on, it'll depend. My ES contracts, I'll usually spend about $2,000 per contract, and somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000. And with NG, I will usually spend somewhere between $1,300 to $1,500 per contract on it as far as option. And then when you go to gold, I think gold is around $1,500 to $2,000 as well. Crude oil has been running, I think crude oil's like $4,000. I think it was. It was a lot to buy 1 contract, and it just wasn't worth it to me. Crude oil is kind of off the charts. I'm not even going to trade it. It's too volatile. You don't know where it's going to go. I've been trading a lot of natural gas lately, the NG, and it's actually been treating me real good. I made close to $1,000 on it Friday, and then I picked up one Walmart trade that, matter of fact, I didn't even know it sold till yesterday. So I was just looking at my account that I had on Tastyworks, and I don't have much in there, but I had that trade in there, and I had a sale on it, and it sold, and I didn't even know it. So with adding that one and what I'd made on Natural Gas Friday, I was just over $1,000, which is a great day. I don't think anybody complained about $1,000 in a day. Most people in our group, pretty happy to make $300 to $500 in a day. And if you make, say you make $500 a day, then that's going to be, what is that, a little over $100,000 a year. That's good money. Most people don't make that kind of money. So this is staying right on that trend. So that's what that charting course will do, is it'll teach you this. But on the other ones, like the charting courses or the, I got future contracts, future options. Those, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, I think futures is what everybody should be trading. Small account or large account, I think that's the one you ought to do. The biggest reason, there's 2 reasons. Small account, you don't have any pattern day trade. You don't have to worry about that. But really, the biggest reason I think everybody should be doing futures is you can trade anytime you want. Like right now, if we wanted to buy a put on ES right now, we could. And, we can make some money on it. Or if you wanted to short a contract, you could short a contract right now. So there's things that you can do right now where with equities, you can't do anything with equities. Equities, your hands are tied. So if your hands are tied, then you're hurting. Let's just say that you bought SPY calls on Friday. And I know some people did. I saw them. So if you bought SPY calls on Friday, which I personally don't understand why anybody would have bought SPY calls on Friday, especially the way it's been selling off for several days. But some people bought SPY calls, and if they did, they're hurting right now because they would have bought them Let's say they bought them right here at 28.16. Well, right now we are at 27.84. So the calls that they bought on Friday are going to turn into worthless tomorrow. Where if you'd have bought SPY or ES calls on Friday, if you wanted to, you could have sold them right now instead of waiting on it to keep on dropping. So NG moved fast after 4 a.m. You know, I've never really figured out a time frame on it. Maybe I need to look at that closer, but NG, when it decides to move, it moves. And you look right there, you boys and girls that were, you know, or ladies and gentlemen, I won't say boys and girls, you ladies and gentlemen that have taken my course already know what's getting ready to happen right there. So I will be making money tonight. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what it looks like anyway. So you was checking it last week. I'll have to look back on it. I've never really paid any attention to the actual time frame. I need to look at that more, I guess. I hope it just sells off hard all night. I'd like to be able to make some money tonight. I'd probably sell off 2 and keep 1, let it run all night. But I think if you look at NG, and for all those ones that are trading futures, NG, hang on a second here. If you're trading futures, NG moves a little bit slower to scalp, so your stops don't get hit so bad. Where ES, you have these big swings up and down, so you can get stopped out pretty easy, and it makes it a little bit harder to make money on it because you'll sometimes lose money. One person in our group that took our future contracts course has been losing a lot just mainly because of stops, and it's hard to leave a 10-point stop out there because if you're on ES, a 10-point stop is $500. So, and if it goes 10.1 tick, you get stopped out and you lost $500. That's the bad part about ES. Where with NG, on NG, the margin is less on TOS, but it's more on NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is $1,000, where on the ES is $500. But on Thinkorswim here, this one's $13,300 and this one's $2,400. So your margin's not that bad on Thinkorswim, and I usually do my contracts on Thinkorswim instead of the NinjaTrader. The NinjaTrader, I've only been demoing. I've been using their demo version and just trying it out. I have not, other than I traded some live on another place, and I was in consolidation, didn't do very well. So that one ended up costing me. But for the most part, I think NinjaTrader's pretty good. There was one time that they actually took control and closed out my trade. And when they closed out my trade, I would have made money because my stop was in place. It didn't hit my stop, and all of a sudden it just closed it out. And they ended up costing me $300. Where if they would have not done that and let me trade it the way I was trading it, I would have made about $300. So really, I guess they cost me $600 on that trade, and it really kind of made me mad because, one, I didn't even know what happened. The trade just disappeared, and I thought, well, maybe a candle come down and hit it without me knowing it, but it didn't show on the screen. But it wasn't. They took control and sold it, and I did not like that. They've given 3 different reasons why they did it, and all 3 are different. So that's one thing I don't like about NinjaTrader. That's the only thing that's happened that I don't care for. So I don't, there's nothing you can do about it. They're the broker. They can do what they want. But other than that, I've been pretty happy with them. They have an ATM strategy where when you post a, say a buy, it'll put your stop wherever you wanted it. It's pre-programmed, and they'll put your sell up above, and then also let you put a runner. So let's say you bought 4 contracts. You could have your buy 4 right here. You could have a sell stop right here of 4 contracts. And then you can have a limit order of 3 contracts here, and then you can have a 1 contract up here. So if it would come up and hit those 3, it would sell and claim your money. But if it kept on going and spiked up and hit that other one, what they do there, but I did have that one issue with them Thursday, and I didn't like that. But again, nothing you can do about it. So what I plan on doing is tomorrow, hopefully my account will be funded. I've already wired the money, and if it gets, my account is all set up for it, so it should be good. And then as far as we get 100-point runs on ES. If you're doing 4 contracts and you do a 100-point run, that's $20,000. That's what you'd make on it. But you just got to be the right way. Like if you would have got in a realistic trade, let's see here. A realistic trade would have been here, so you'd be looking 28.46 down to probably right here. So 46.15, so call it 45. So that's 30 points. You could have made 30 points right here. That's $6,000 from here to here, and that would be from 11 o'clock to so it'd be almost 3 hours of trade right there, and you would have made what did I say, 30 and be $6,000 that you'd have made right there. So that's pretty good money. So the futures is actually really good, and if you only did one contract, you'd still made $1,500 right there in 2.5 hours, just shorting it. So in my opinion, futures is the best money. Future contracts, you make the most money. Future options, you make more money than you do on equity options, but not as much as you do on future contracts. So, but we have all those courses online. They're $199 currently. That's what the price is. And if you go in there, you can click on them, take one. If I'm not a real good trader, as far as scalping, I probably would do the future options before I do the contracts. And the better you get with scalping, we have a scalping course on there. It's only $100. It's $99 what's on there. And that one would actually teach you how to get in and out of these trades right here. So it tells you what to look for. So with that course, you could learn how to scalp better. Anytime you learn any kind of new technique, I always advise everybody to paper trade until you learn that. Look how things dropping. I just wish the NG would drop just like it. But that thing is just selling off. Whoever has SPY puts is going to make some money. And that's the other thing. A lot of people want to trade a lot of different stocks. And I get hooked into it every now and then. But if you just trade the futures, if you do gold, ES, and NG, just do those 3. That's all you need, number one. And then if you go back into your equities, if you just trade SPY, if you do SPY options, it's usually on about a 1-point spread. So if you might be $1.46 and $1.47. Sometimes it's the same, $1.46 buy and sell, bid and ask, that is. So if you want to trade options, my advice is to stick to SPY. You can actually do a market order on that and actually get in and out quicker. Where if you go into like bind will sometimes have sometimes a dollar spread. Like if you go in here now, and this is after hours, so it's not going to match up very good. But if you go to this one, you've got $1.35 spread right there. Well, you can't trade that, because if you bought it, and let's say you had to pay the ask price, as soon as you bought it, you'd be in the hole, because you couldn't sell it for anything less than $8.50. So buying is not very good. Where if you go to SPY, pull this one up. This gets you some free education tonight. SPY right now, it's showing a bigger margin difference, but it's usually only like a penny or two difference. Where it's $9.90 and $9.81, that's only 9 cents, so that's really not bad. But again, this is after hours. Whenever it gets in trading hours, this changes. But if you want to trade SPY, you can only do it from 9:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Where if you want to trade ES, you can trade it right now. You can trade it all night long. The only time the ES shuts down And I'll give you an example, like a 30-day contract, which I don't ever do. I do the weekly contracts. That's what I do on them. So like on a weekly contract right now, you're looking at $1,900 to buy that one. Whereas if you bought SPY, same time frame, SPY, you're looking at $378. So you're looking at a lot more money to trade the future, but you're actually going to be better off because you can trade at any time except from 4:15 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time p.m. and you can't trade it from 5 to 6 Eastern Standard Time in the evening. That's the only time it's shut down. So if you just think of between 4 and 6 you're not going to trade, then you're fine. But anytime other than that, you can. And a swing trade in futures is between 5 and 6. So if you don't close it out by 5, and then you actually swing it over to 6 o'clock, that's only an hour, but that is called a swing trade. So like on Ninja Trader, they want you closed out before 4:45. So what I tell everybody to do is just go ahead and get closed out before 4:15. 4:15 is when it shuts down anyway. You really shouldn't be in a trade between 4:15 and 4:30 because it could gap either way. When it opens, it could gap up or gap down. So you want to try to just be out of your trade by 4:15 anyway. So, and then, when it opens up, pretend that 6 o'clock is just like opening bell at 9:30. You don't jump in immediately. You go ahead and wait, let it kind of settle down, and then you get back in. But we go over all that stuff in the courses. There's a lot of information about futures that you need to know. You should never jump into futures without knowing what you're getting into because you can lose your shirt real quick. You could jump into a future contract like on this one here. Let's say you jumped in the actually let's go to ES. Let's say you jumped in a call right here, and that's 29. We'll call it 29.50 for numbers. And then you've got if I go to 1 minute, that's even better. Right here even. If you jumped in a call right here on this doji, which was not a good place, but if you did, you're 28.29, and you wait 2 more minutes, this thing would be down to 28.26. There's 3 points, and right here. So if you just say you went to the bathroom, you come back, you're already down to here. So 28.21, 28. So there's about 8 points right here, and if you're in just one contract, that is going to be 8 and 5 is $400 you'd lose right here. And if you took a longer bathroom break and kept on going and come down to here, I mean, the money is exponential what you could lose. So you really need to know what you're doing with futures. And the way futures work, it's like a little roller coaster. I mean, look at this chop right here. This is awful. Trying to get in there and trade that, just quit it. Don't even try. Now see, NG's coming down for me now. So as far as the courses, they're very reasonable for what you're getting. And we've had a lot of people take them. I haven't had anybody complaining about this taking them. I do have a lot of people making money because of them. Some people are still trial and error on them. But for the most part, everybody's making money. Once you understand what futures is about, then you're fine. And if you're new to trading, you don't really have a strategy, take our strategy course. It is how to scalp options. And that will actually teach you how to trade future options and, it won't teach you how to trade the option, but it'll teach you how to scalp an option. Let me rephrase that. So if you're not really sure of a strategy, don't know where to get in or get out, your entry and exit is not good, that is the course for you. You can utilize that course on anything, future contracts, future options, equities, equity options, any kind of strategy. You could even use it on future or Forex. That's geared more for the options, but it'll work on all of them. Well, guys, I think we've settled down here a little bit. Been on here for about an hour. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. And as far as if you're not part of our Discord group, you click on SpyMoneyLSE.com and you'll learn more about it, know how to get plugged into it, and be part of our group in there, and get some call outs and so forth and help you out. If you are part of our Discord, I will see you guys in here in a little bit. I will be checking in with you guys, and getting questions or anything, just holler at me and we'll see what we can do. So please like, share, and subscribe, and I will try to start doing these on Sunday nights. Not a promise, but I'm going to try to start doing them. I think it's actually good to see the market open together. So I will chat with you guys later, and everybody have a great night, and I hope you are green in the morning.